Nigeria is at another defining moment. As the countdown to the 2027 presidential election begins, political parties are unveiling their visions for the country's future, each promising a new path out of years of economic hardship, insecurity, and governance challenges. One of the latest voices to enter the national conversation is Dr. Emmanuel Chukwuka, the presidential candidate of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA. In an exclusive interview with Media 360 Impact, he unveiled what he described as a new direction agenda, a blueprint he says will rebuild Nigerian through visionary leadership, stronger institutions, long-term planning, and governance that puts the people first. But what exactly is this new direction? What changes is he promising? And why does he believe Nigeria can become a nation where tomorrow is truly better than today? Here are the key highlights from his vision for the country.
Dr. Emmanuel Chukwuka Johnson.
Okay. A Nigerian?
Of course, I'm from Enugu State.
Okay, okay, that's good. Sir, you're going into politics, Nigerian politics, the largest in Africa. What's your motivation for taking this journey?
Okay, basically my motivation, if you look at the states we find ourselves in Nigeria, I don't think we need any other motivation that to look for a way to fix things in Nigeria. Nigeria, unfortunately, has been the country that our yesterdays are far better than our today. The previous government seems to be the better government. I remember when it was the military, we were asking for civilian government. When we finally got civilian government, now we started crying for those days that the military had power. And then subsequently in our democracy, each time a government comes and goes, then we find out that the previous government is better than the current government. And that means that all is not well. And then as a result of this is the motivation actually I have, that it's time for us to fix things for the country. Let us of our yesterday being better than our today. I think we need a new direction. Is that the direction we've been going so far is not leading us to anywhere. It's such a direction that we keep having fears. We keep asking ourselves, are we really citizens of this country? It's such a direction that there's no prediction of what will happen tomorrow. In fact, as a matter of fact, no single Nigerian can beat his chest and say, in 5 years' time, this is where I will be. That's correct.
What is your ideology as a party? Or is it like the everyday party, you are getting politicians that will cross carpet when the chips are down? Because that is what happened in Nigeria politics. What is DLA's mantra? What do you stand for?
Okay, our mantra is that is rewriting the history of Nigeria. And coincidentally, we are the only opposition party in Nigeria. I know that we have so many parties, and then the mistake that we make in Nigeria is that we think that having different party names equals to having different ideologies or can be regarded as opposition. No. The point is that we have a ruling party, we have other parties who share the same ideology. But in DLA, we have a different ideology. While these other parties, the ideology is just capitalism. We believe in social democracy. Now, if you look at capitalism and then the way they operate their parties, you see, for them, qualification to run election, you must have been able to accomplish a certain business setup, see their qualification. And then the approach to election is financing, bringing out money and then buying people. That's capitalist. And that also tells on how they have been holding the affairs of the country. You see, they don't develop our roads. They don't. In fact, we lack in terms of infrastructure. The reason is this: for a capitalist to do something, there must be something in for them. And that is the difference between us and them. Social Democrats believe in the welfare of the people, while capitalists believe in their personal interests. So this is where our ideology differ, and then that is what makes us the opposition in Nigerian politics.
As a young man, what will you do differently from those other people that will make, that will allow the ordinary Nigerian youth who are eligible to vote to go out and cast a vote for DLA?
Okay, the first question about how can we make ourselves popular?
Yes.
Well, number one thing, like people always say, you are, they tell me, but you know, they are unknown. You know, like I'm not known. But my response is that there are about 240 million Nigerians who are unknown, like me. So we have a group. We know ourselves in this unknown chat.
Unknown Nigerians.
Yes. So we are communicating with ourselves. However, we are engaged with the young Nigerians. And incidentally, the Nigerian youths are the one also controlling the social media space. Two, we're also engaging the media, the journalists, because you know, everything about popularity starts from the journalists, the media. They are the one that can blow somebody up, even if the person is not that kind of one. In order to create that awareness, we're engaging the media, and we're set forth for that. Now, regarding the people who had held positions as young people and then they failed to deliver, you know, based on the expectations, I think they didn't. They failed not because they are young, but rather they failed because of the ideology that they operated with. If you look at it, just like you outlined, they were giving contract to their cronies, you know, their friends. And that is a typical sign of capitalism. You know, they think about personal interest. It could come through their friends or cronies. So in this case, we differ. I believe in social democracy, and that it means we believe in social welfare of the people and not for our personal interest. This is where somebody will execute infrastructure without thinking of what they will make. I'll give you an example. Was it not last year that the current government invested, or rather spent, about 10 billion naira in putting up solar panel in the villa? Now, the question is this, so that we understand how this scenario played. We have other prominent candidates, you know, like P2B, like Kwankwaso, like Atiku. Now, what if these other ones are the one in power? What would they have done? Would they do the same thing like the current government? Now, look at it, if it was P2B. P2B will be able to negotiate the cost of doing the solar panel maybe to 9 billion. And then people will appreciate it, you know, capitalists. Hey, he did it very well. Then if it was Atiku, of course, Atiku might even increase it to 11 billion and then give the project to his friends. And they will also appreciate him. If it was Kwankwaso, I think it's similar thing they will do. But if we are the one, we will not spend money to set up solar panel. Rather, what we will do is that we will build industries that will produce this solar panel. So in that case, create jobs for Nigerians. So you can use this to understand the difference between capitalism and then social democrats.
Yeah, that we devil with a lot of challenges. Security, education, health-wise. So what will you do differently from every other contestant?
In order to fix Nigeria problem, you need to understand the background at which these problems are coming. Over the years, what our leaders, or rather our politicians, have attempted to do is kind of trying to solve symptoms instead of solving the actual cause of the problems. If you want to, like in the hospital, if you want to cure somebody, you use symptoms to find out the real cause, you know, of the disease, and then focus on the disease and cure it. Our problems are not ours. In fact, they were artificial. We need to go back to our history and then find out about the sequence of invasion that we have encountered, you know, as a people. If we can get a knowledge about it, then we'll know that Nigeria is being, in fact, Nigeria was created as a business setup for some people, for some interest, you know, the Western interest. Yes, I know that God works in, you know, through such means, you know, we are together. Anyway, that's a purpose for God. But however, we need to see it the way so that we can find a solution to our problems. Majority of the problems we have in Nigeria today, they are not internal, they are external. And this external means because there are external interests in taking our mineral resources for free. And because of that, they are going about it in a way that they can put us, perpetually in crisis, because at this point, they are going to gain. So if one has this understanding about geopolitics, they know how it applies to us. That is where you can now have solution. So all these other things, the usually inadequacies and insecurity, they will be bygone once you have understanding of how these things are happening. Is this, we need to look at human resources first. Among all the resources that we have, the human resources is one of the biggest. As a matter of fact, I don't see the reason why we should be inviting foreigners to build our airline, build our roads, fix our power. We have professors, we have engineers who could do this. Our professors should not be only for election, monitor rigging election or whatever thing they do. But we should also engage them in fixing the power sector. We don't need foreigners to do this. The foreigners we invite, they have their knowledge from school, from education. We have schools in Nigeria, we have quality education in Nigeria. Our professors should not just end up the activities in the classroom. We engage them, we harness that potentials and then fix our own infrastructure needs. That's one. And then the second one, in terms of mineral resources we need to have adequate knowledge of what we have. Because when we have the knowledge, then we'll be able to know how to put them in use. Unfortunately, there are some, okay, I'll give an example. In Nigeria today, we have something, one of those minerals is rhodium. Some certain foreigners have been coming to Nigeria, taking them outside Nigeria. And this they do because of lack of understanding by our own people. When they go through the airport, they will show them, okay, what they are carrying, and then they want to find out what is this. They will act as if they don't know, and they are going to do a lab test to find out. At times they go with like 2 kg. Unknown to the custom officials or airport officials, that what they are holding there is about almost $2 million, almost $1 million in one trip. They will go. And because we don't have knowledge of what we have, we look at them as, hey, it's just ordinary sand or stone. But this foreigner will go there, he become a millionaire, a dollar millionaire. Then he will also come back again with the same stone and continue that cycle. Imagine $1 million you are giving to a village for farming. Imagine what it will do. So the first thing is that for us to have adequate knowledge of what we have, then we can now harness them.
Final question for me.
Okay, Nigerians are the one bankrolling me. It's as simple as that. We are not coming to politics as capitalists. Capitalists will look for money everywhere. They will steal even state funds and then act as if their own personal funds. But our own is different. We believe in Nigeria. There are like minds in Nigeria who have seen the need for us to take the battle. So these are the ones bankrolling us. Of course, there is nobody who really want to make a difference, want to contest in the election that you will not sit down, analyze and know what you can do. We spent many years studying the activities in Nigeria, looking for solutions, and that is how we're able to put up our blueprint, which I know that will suit into fixing Nigeria. And I just want to give an example. In the course of our studying, we compare nations of the world to see where we can actually get a kind of an idea of what to do in Nigeria. Now, Russia happened to be one. Now, the reason why Russia is an example for us, we share similarities with Russia. Russia is the biggest population in Europe. 2, Russia is multinational, just like Nigeria. Russia is also multi-religious, just Nigeria. Russia has similar mineral resources, just we do. So now, what it means that the enemy that they have are the same enemy we have, those who want to take our mineral resources. Now we look at how they were able to bring their people together in unity, irrespective of religion or nationality, and how they have been able to protect their mineral resources and how they have been able to develop themselves technologically. So that falls to be a kind of a blueprint for us, to look into. Of course, there are areas we also put other things, but I just try to let you know that we walked through this, and I can beat my chest and tell you we have a good blueprint that will fix Nigeria.
final word to Nigerians?
My final words to Nigeria is that Nigeria should not give up, irrespective of how gloomy it might be. I believe there is hope, but not just their renewed hope. I believe there is an authentic hope that if we work together as a people, we'll fix the country.
Follow, like, share at Media 360 Impact for credible, people-centered reporting.